We went there, and my mother was so tearful after recounting to them what it was like to have Larry dismissed after 20 years in the mental hospital there at Western State Mental Hospital, and how hard it was to see to him as she was getting older. She recounted for them some of the problems with Larry, and when we signed contract, right away they had a fire drill, and my mother was so tearful after talking about Larry that she was hurrying out of the building, and she fell. And ever since that day, she's had severe arthritis and rheumatism. She's unable now to come downstairs and do the things that she did before falling. That's my grandchild. Excuse me. Just a moment. Come on, Mimi. Working at home is beneficial. Anyway, the Johnny Cochran firm tricked us. Tricked us. They wrote us what they were doing, a discovery and all of that for the case of the wrongful death of Larry Neal against the jail, negligence against the state of Tennessee. Because you see, we had begged the state of Tennessee to please put him back in the hospital as an inpatient because he couldn't take care of himself. He would constantly be arrested for silly things. You know, he didn't hurt anybody, but panhandling or talking loud or what have you. He had had pneumonia over and over the last couple of years of his life because he just didn't understand dressing well for the weather. He was a danger to himself, not to others. But a danger to yourself should be enough to be hospitalized. But it's not, evidently. In any case, the Jenny Cochran firm signed a contract with us with no intention whatsoever of carrying out that contract. They didn't intend to be our attorneys, and indeed they were not. We found out after months that they lied to us. They were actually working for the jail. The managing partner of the Memphis office of the Jenny Cochran firm, Julian Bolton, was himself a county commissioner. And the county commission owns and operates the jail where Larry Neal died. They own and operate it. And he was the chairman of the county commission before he stepped down and to help Johnny Cochran start that Memphis office. But he was still on the county commission. I imagine that they all breathed a big sigh of relief to know that we had called them the day Larry died, because they were under restrictions to give account of any deaths or injuries to the United States Justice Department. And when we signed a contract with the Johnny Cochran firm, they never gave a report on Larry to the Justice Department. Strange thing is, when I gave the report to the Justice Department did nothing. I guess mental patients just don't count as much as I'd like for them to in America. My friends and associates who are members of the Assistance to Incarcerated Mentally Ill Foundation, we have a presence on Care 2. We work to make mental patients count more. Less tasering, less restraint chairs, less incarceration, less death. Mental illness is an illness just like diabetes. It's treatable. It's treatable. Let's not imprison them. Let's not kill them. Let's not run tricks and censor people who will tell the world how they're treated. Let's clean up our act, and then there'll be nothing to hide. You never saw this on the media. You never saw this on the media. Why? Did you know that when we filed suit against the Johnny Cochran firm for their fraud, letting the whole 10.5 months go by and doing nothing to bring our lawsuits forward? When we filed suit right here in Georgia, right downtown in Atlanta, at what they call their Atlanta office. That's what, I didn't make it up. They called it their Atlanta office. But when I sued them, do you know that Judge Wendy Shube of Georgia Superior Court dismissed the case because the office where I served at 127 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia, that's advertised as being the Atlanta office, said that there are no such thing on the court documents. They disclaimed being the Atlanta office of the Janet Cochran firm. They claim no association with other Cochran firm offices. They claim to be a firm called Cochran, Cherry, Given, Smith, Cochran, and Sestruck, PC. So I went down to the Secretary of State's office, and imagine this. There is no such thing registered with the Secretary of State's office in Georgia. An alias, I guess. How many criminals can get away with things by telling the police, "Oh, I'm not Joe Henry, I'm Boo Boo." They still go to jail. But the Cochran firm is allowed to come up with an alias, evidently, in Georgia State Court and dodge accountability for their fraud against my 80-year-old mother and against us. Read more about this right here, the wrongful death of LarryNeal.com. Read my articles on nowpublic.com. My name is Mary, M-A-R-Y, Neal, N-E-A-L. Just put that in the search engine. And please, I'm just hopeful that if I get it all out there, the media won't cover this. It's censored. I'm hopeful that by getting it out here on film, it'll be some protection for myself and my family, because we're on the 911 no call, no response list. Pray for us as we try to work for the least of these, his brethren. Thank you very much.